Okay, so now as we come back to finish up working on multiplication, or at least go to the next step of multiplication, we can see when we come back to our table, we really have eliminated a lot of our multiplication facts, and we're down to less than half of what we started with, just by learning some of those basic rules for zeros, ones, and tens, and then having and doubling to build our twos and fives and fours from. What I would like to add now is some distributive property work that's going to help us with, particularly with our 9s, our 11s, and 12s. And what you see is if I can get those taken care of, I get down to very few multiplication facts left. And actually this property that we're going to use to do our 9s, 11s, and 12s will help us fill in some of these pretty well easily, to the point where I think usually by the time you finish understanding distributive property and the things we've worked with, I think there's really only one fact that we wind up having to memorize, which is 7 times 8, which is 56. Okay, so let's go ahead and get over to working on our 9s, 11s, and 12s. Okay, now for these, our 9s, 11s, and 12s, we're going to build all of these off of our 10s facts. And so basically, if we can figure out our 10s facts and use that, imagine you're using count by, all right? If you could jump all the way up to 10 times something, then you only have to do 1 or 2 more to get to your 11s or 12s. And so that's the basic idea for our 11s and 12s. And then for our 9s, we just have to go back 1. So let's see what that looks like. Once again, I built some worksheets through the homeschoolmath.net site. So let's look at that worksheet and we'll see what I can do there. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with one of our 11s facts. So here's an 11 over here, 11 times 27. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of our 10s fact. So 270 would be our 10s fact. And then I just need to add 27 to that. So that will be 297. And a lot of people think that your 11s facts are writing the number next to each other, but that only works up through our single-digit numbers. And so doing this for our 11s and 9s, this is one of the places where going with the 2-digit numbers helps us see what we weren't exactly perfect with. I'll do another 11 over here, 11 times 78. So I start with the 780. And if I have to add 78, that's going to take me to 858. So that's for our 11s fact. Let's do a 12s fact right up here. So I'm going to start with my 210 is 10 groups of 21, and then I need 2 more groups of 21, so that would be 42. So, and you can write that down if you want. All right, but you have 250 to them. My writing's getting bad with the cursor, sorry. This one looks a little bit interesting to do. So 12 times 42, so we start with our 10, so we have 420. And then 2 42s would be 84. So that's going to bring us to 504. And as you get fluid with these, you probably wouldn't write anything down, but this is the process by which people can do mental multiplication. And obviously taking these back to the easier numbers, you'll be able to do them even better. So we have our 11s and 12s. Let's try a 9. Let's go right above it here to this 9 times 23. So for 9 is 10 groups minus one of the group. So 10 groups of 23 would be 230. So if I had to take one of those 23s off, that would leave me with 207. So it's 10 of them, take away 1. Here's a good one. Let's do 10 times 44 would be 440. If I had to take 44 off, that's going to be 4 less than the 400. It's going to go to 396. And so using tens as a base to build our 9s, 11s, and 12s, I think can help us do them pretty quickly. And if I go back to my multiplication table, I can see in my multiplication table that maybe I can build my 3s off my 2s, or I think you generally count by to get to your 3s. So let's say that you use the same rule and those aren't so hard. And you do the same with your 6s to build those off of your 5s. Not only once you have this rule do you have access to these couple facts, but you can also do much bigger things with these. I get down to the place where I'm left with very few facts to memorize in terms of flashcards. And while I'm there, I would also say it's really important to know your square. It's really important to know your square facts. We're talking about 0 times 0, 0, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. These facts going over, and so getting to 7 times 7 is 49. To me, that's one that you use enough that probably you will naturally remember. And 8 times 8 being 64 being another one that those ones will come up without having to study them too much. And so that leaves me with the one fact that I honestly memorize out of the 12 up to 12 times 12 is that 7 times 8 is 56, because all the others I can figure out rather than memorize when I need to. I hope this works for you guys and makes multiplication a little bit easier for those of you guys that have still been struggling.